Hi everyone, it's Nicole and I have another layout using the May Kit Planetarium kit, and I'm just showing you some of the stuff I might be using. It was the Hero Arts, navy, and some washi tape, those October afternoon yellow stickers, letter stickers, some Jenny Bolin alphas that we got in a kit quite a few months ago, and those basic gray stickers too we got in a kit a few months ago. I just pulled them out again so I could use them. I took out a template from Amy Tangerine to do some stitching, and I'm going to do the whole thing and then I don't end up using it on the page, but we'll still go through it. Sometimes you go through the whole motion and you don't end up using it. Some Lawn Fawn dies, little hearts, and a 12 by 12 template, and it's called Picture Perfect. And from the giveaway that I put up, one of the questions was, what would you like to see? And a lot of people put down more than one photo on a page. So this time I'm going to put 4 photos on a page. And this is a basic gray photo bow ties, and that's the only pattern paper I'm going to end up using. And using more mask, stitching by hand or with machine, which I do the whole thing, but I don't end up putting it on the page. But I'm going to keep the die cut for another page. And then someone said to do some die cuts using a Cuttlebug, which I was going to do, and then at the end I just ended up cutting out some plain hearts. But I will do some embellishments using the Cuttlebug real soon. So these are 4 pictures on our vacation, and it was of my daughter and her son, and it was the first time that obviously that he went on a boat, because he was only 5 months old, and he was born in the winter. So we still had life jackets from when our kids were little, so we brought along and we took him out on the boat. And it wasn't very long, it was just a few minutes, but it was enough that he could say that he went on a boat when he was 5 months old. And I took, of course, a gazillion pictures, so I just thought I would scrapbook about that. So I'm going to mat the whole 4 pictures onto that red paper, and then I just took a strip of that. I guess I did use that Simple Stories grid paper, and I'm going to use that to mat. And now I just got this template in one of my last haul. I believe it was from a Cherry on Top, and I'm going to ink up some of the cameras, but before I do that, I'm going to glue all my pictures down to the red paper, and I'm going to cut around it. And this is layout, if I can find my little, this is layout 14 using the Planetarium kit, and it took me 1 hour and 22 minutes. And I feel like I haven't uploaded anything in like forever. I'm still on a run of extremely a lot of overtime. I'm working, well, I'm on day 10. No, yes, I just finished day 10 out of 30. I'm working 11 days out of 14, and I just did shift 10. So I still have 3 more, which is tonight, Sunday night, and Monday night. And then I'll have a couple days off. It's my fault for signing up for that many overtime, but I'm going to get through it. And now I use that Hero Arts ink, and I'm going to ink up 3 cameras, and one of them I'm going to do to the top left. The other one I'm going to do on my journaling paper, because the sheet was going right across because of having so many pictures on the page. So then I just did it on the journaling paper, and then I'm going to do it to the bottom left of the page. And I really like using those templates. It just, now I'm finding it hard to do a page with that I'm not using a template. So now I have to, go through something else in my craft room that I haven't been using a lot and taking it out. And I'm sure I'll, grow to love it as much as I now love my templates. So I'm going to ink up that last template. And I just want to say that I am reading every single comment that you guys put down. Like I said, I'm working a lot, and I come home and I work on my stuff for maybe an hour or so, and then I go to bed and I'm sleeping till I go to work. And but on my breaks, I'm quickly reading the comments and stuff, and I really appreciate it. And you guys are just awesome, and all the suggestions you're coming up with of the things that you'd like me to see. It's just the ideas are kind of flowing in my head, and I can't wait to have a bunch of time together that I can start doing some of the stuff. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to write everything down, and so I have a list, and then I'll go through the list as much as I can. So now I took out that glitz tape that I love so much, and it's yellow and it says smile, and I'm going to put it in 3 spots. And one of the questions that was asked was, how do I come up with the layers? Well, one of the things I do is, again, I choose my pattern paper before, and it's mostly because I scrapbook with a kit. So I go through my papers and find papers that I like together, and then I put a sort of mini kit together of pages. And then with that, then I go to my photos, and I mean, we all have thousands of photos, and then I choose the photos, and with that, then I go with it. And then with the kits, like, I still keep up what was from last month's kit. So you're going to see me go through, like right now, the die cuts, and I take out everything that coordinates with the page that I'm doing. So right now, anything that's red or yellow, I'm going to pull it out. It doesn't mean that I'm going to use it, but at least I'm not looking at that big bowl of stuff and I don't know what I'm going to do next. So I just take out a whole bunch, and you're going to see there's going to be a lot of stuff that I'm not going to end up using it. But at least I have it out, and I don't have all this, extra stuff to look at. I did take out some of those round pinking circles, and I put it in the 3 spots. And that's another thing. Once I have the photos down, I go, okay, so I'm going to put normally 3 spots that I'm going to put embellishments. And I kind of put them in a triangle. And I mean, a lot of people do that. It's a design principle. And I think once you start doing it, it just kind of comes a little bit more naturally. And then once I have that, I try to put at least one thing of the same in each little cluster. Now, sometimes I'll only have one of whatever it is. Well, then I'll do the one, because as long as you do it in uneven numbers, so if you do 1, 3, 5, it's still pleasing to the eye. And sometimes I put 4. I mean, it just depends how the layout goes. And I just keep adding stuff, taking stuff out until I feel like I have enough stuff. And I go through. What I did was, a few kits ago, I took out a few packages of stickers, like the Dear Lizzie, the Amy Tangerine, and I keep it with my Studio Calico stuff. And every time I do a page, I go through it and I take out everything that kind of coordinates with the page. And if it doesn't coordinate with the page, then because I use my rub-on tool, I can't put it back in the sticker book, but then I just put it with my die cuts. And maybe the page after that or the one after, I know I'll use it. That happens all the time. So I'm not too worried that it's not sticky anymore. Then once I find I have enough stuff on my page, then I start gathering stuff. And then I have all the die cuts that I use, the digital prints, that I bought from Studio Calico. I go through those too. I go through the labels. I go through the regular die cuts, and I take out everything that coordinates. And what I do is once I get them printed from Staples, I cut them all up. Now, I had a few questions about how I get them printed at Staples. Actually, I had quite a few questions. So I think what I'll do next week, I'm off Tuesday and Wednesday. So on one of those days, I'll do a mini tutorial on, I'll try to set up my tripod so it faces my computer, and I'll go on Staples and I'll show you quickly how I upload a digital print and get it printed, and you know, the quality of the paper and all that stuff. So I'll go through that because I've had enough questions to warrant doing a small video. And also where I bought the digital prints, and that I usually buy them with the Studio Calico kits. They don't come with it. It's just a part, and I just buy it and then I print them. And I print them more than once, so I find that it's worth it. I just went just before I did the giveaway, I did 18 pages for the giveaway that I printed out, and then I think about 18. And I did the same for me, and now I'm just cutting them all out, and then I like to cut them out ahead so that they're ready when I'm ready to use them. So like I said, I thought I was going to use this die cut, so I took the Amy Tangerine speech bubble with the heart and I pierced it, and it comes with a little mat and a little piercer, and I pierced all the holes, and now I'm going to thread my needle with some of the floss that came with the kit. And it's just a regular back stitch, and I'm going to do the speech bubble in the aqua, and then I'm going to do the heart in the red. And I kind of quickly looked at it last night while I was working because I kind of got my video ready for voiceover at work, and it looked fine when I looked at it on the recording, but when I was doing it live, once I had it all there, I didn't like it anymore. The colors didn't seem to go as much. So because there's more navy than there is aqua, so that's the reason I didn't use it. And then I'm just going to keep stitching that speech bubble, and once I get to the end, I'm just going to tie it in a knot, and then I'm going to take my scissors and I'm going to cut out the speech bubble. And whenever you have a die cut that's on a big sheet of paper, it's really hard to cut around it and not be all wonky. So what I do, I cut near the shape, and then when there's less paper to deal with, it's much easier to get a smooth cut. And another thing is, you don't move your scissors, you move your die cut. So your scissors just do the one cut down and you move your die cut, instead of cutting with your scissors, doing the motion of cutting small little movements. You'll get jagged edges on your die cut, if that makes any sense. And now I took out some red floss, and I'm going to stitch the heart, and I'm going to put it on my page. And then I kind of decide that, well, there's more aqua than navy on that die cut, so I'm just going to keep it for another layout. Also, in that cluster, this washi tape says smile, and there's also so lovely, and I'm going to end up finding a die cut that says together. So I like that better. And now I'm going to work on my title. I took out my October Afternoon Honey stickers and the basic gray letters that we got in a kit a few months ago. And I'm going to punch out the letters, and the title is just going to be My Little Sailor. And I'm just going to put it on the wax paper so that I can move around the title so I can kind of see where I want it to go. And I mean, the word sailor, it wouldn't have mattered because when you punch them out, the backing comes with it, so it's not sticky. But the October Afternoon letters are sticky, so it just makes it a little easier to move the whole thing around. So I'm just going to push that aside, and now I'm going to work on some little die cuts. And this is a Lawn Fawn die, and it's called Heart Dies. And I'm going to take out my Cuttlebug, and I'm going to cut out, or punch out, I guess, a few hearts using the same paper, the basic gray bow ties. And you don't see a lot of the paper from in behind the photo, so I figured it was okay if I was going to use the same paper. So I'm just going to use the sandwich that you use for the smaller dies. And I had questions about that, so I'm going to talk about what the nesting is, I guess. So it is, I use plate A, and then for a small die like that, I use plate C because it's thicker, and then I use one plate B, and then I bought this metal sheet that helps with the cutting. So when it's a small die, again, it's the A, which is the green, the plate C, which is a thicker plate, and then a plate B, and then a metal plate. And what I do is I bought extra plates, and if you rewind the video, you'll see some of them says cutting on it. So I have plates that I use just for cutting, and then I have other plates that I use only for embossing. Because what happens when you do a lot of cutting on your plates, you get a lot of, like, it messes up your plate. And then when you want to use it for embossing, it actually puts all those cuts on your paper that you're trying to emboss, and I don't like that. So I have plates that are brand new that I've never cut with, and I only use them for embossing. So I hope that helps. And whenever I do other sandwiches, I'll let you know what I'm using. So I had found a couple more things that I really liked in one of the die cuts, and one says Insta Love, and then the little acetate beside it says this is something magical. And on the bottom right, I just put, there was a sticker that had 4 arrows, so I just cut them up and I put them in each cluster. I put one of those little pinking circles from Jenny Bolin. I'm going to put a heart in each cluster, and then I'm going to put an enamel dot. And I took out one of those geotags that we got in a kit a few months ago. I still have a little bit left, and I'm trying to use them up. And that's where the geotag is, at the top cluster. And then I'm going to work on my title. And the battery's going to die, but the only thing that's going to be left is the journaling. So, because I was going to do my journaling on camera, and I don't end up doing it because the battery dies. But I'm going to glue down my title, and then I'm going to ink it up with 3 different glimmer glaze. And while I'm putting down my title, I just want to let you know that I started a Facebook group, and we share our work, and the link is in the description. And also, if you'd like to see some still pictures, I've caught up. I've uploaded all the pages. So they're all up to date on 2 Peas in a Bucket in Studio Calico. You go in the members gallery and you look for Nicole Jones 911. And also on the Facebook group, I upload all my pages there. So if you want to get a closer look. And I have a contest going on right now, a giveaway. And it is for having 1,000 subbies, and also that I've reached 100 scrapbooking processing videos. And there's a guideline video, so if you want to go check it out and try it out. And the video before kind of gives you the prize, and the prize is worth over $100. So now I glued down the hearts, I glued down the dots, and I grabbed my twine. And it is the navy twine. And I don't get to use that navy twine a lot, so I was happy to be able to use it. And I just kind of wrapped it up in a circle, and I figured that it was fitting for, a boat, because, the rope to kind of tie the boat to the dock. So I added that to the page. And I believe next I'm going to ink the page. Oh, no, I'm not done gluing. So that's the die cut that I decided to use, and the one at the top together. And I slowed down the video a little bit more this time because I had a lot of questions about layering and about the Cuttlebug and that stuff. So I thought when I only have like 10-12 minutes, I don't have time to talk about that kind of stuff. So I kind of slowed it down so that I could give a little bit more information as per some requests. And like I said, I added 3 colors. I'm going to show you some close-ups. And then I decide that I'm going to do the journaling, because I wasn't quite tired enough to go to bed yet. So I thought, well, you know, I'll just do the journaling. Oh, I guess I'm going to stamp on it first. That's right. So I'm going through my Ali Edwards stamps. And that stamp there is, I know it's the stamp of the month. It's the Studio AE July 2013. So that's the last one that I got. And there's a little heart and a little chevron arrow. So I'm going to put the chevron arrow to the top of the journaling block. And it's just to sort of like introduce the journaling. And then I'm going to put I'm going to take the little heart too, and I'm going to stamp it in 3 spots. So I'm just testing out different inks to see what I want to use. So I decided on a Hero Arts, I think it's Red Royal it's called. And it's a nice red, and it kind of coordinated with the red. And the battery dies, and I'm going to show you a few close-ups. And like I said, today is Friday. And you know what? I don't even know what day we are. I know it's Friday. And hopefully I'll upload a video in the next couple of days. So thanks for watching. Bye.